Good morning, everyone. This is Kendall Askins from Stimulating Minds. Askins Stimulates over on Instagram. I'm joining you for another morning with another gem to drop. If you have not follow, subscribe to our pages, please make sure you do that. And we are getting into our busy season. So if your child, student needs any type of help, not just academic, we do some career things, we do college readiness, we do all types of personalized learning experiences. So especially for those juniors, seniors in high school, we're going to be running some courses just to get them ready for some career and college readiness. But if your child is in that space, please make sure you reach out so that way we can make sure that their success is being maximized. So today I just want to jump into a continuation from last week. So last week we talked about they don't need to understand. And it was such a powerful moment, and you guys jumped in the chat and really talked about the experiences you've had with people, with realizing that people don't need to understand those decisions that you're making. You're educated, you're researching, you're a responsible adult, and you're putting thought into things. And so sometimes people want to offer their opinion, and when they offer it and it feels like they're challenging what we think or what decision we've made, we have tendency to try to convince them that we have made the right decision, right? And so we talked about that last week. I wanted to take it a step further and look at it through the lens of collaboration, right? So this can be work, personal, anything, right? I think about co-parenting. I'm, attempting to do that right now. I think about work as a principal. I think about even as a mom, right? Where I'm trying to build healthy children, right? Healthy mindsets, teach them how to work with each other, listen to them, validate their feelings. And so, in all of these aspects, in all of these roles that I play, I realized that while I might not need to explain or over-explain myself, there is a way that I can show up in these spaces without feeling like I need to convince somebody that I'm right, quote unquote, but at the same time that I can be able to collaborate with somebody. So I wanted to talk about that with you guys today and give you some ideas on what that might look like. So let's say you're going to make a decision, or you're bringing something forth, whether it's with your children, whether it's, again, spouse or co-parent, or you're at work, right? And you have an idea, or you're sharing something, or you've made a decision, and whoever you're speaking with disagrees with that decision. One of the things that you can do, instead of sitting and trying to explain or convince them, listen to what it is that they might disagree with. So say to them, okay, I feel this way. What is it that, you feel differently about? And have them pinpoint, not necessarily dissect what you said, but have them share what they're thinking. And as they're sharing and you're listening to them, you are then listening for maybe what's different, or maybe there's a point of view that you didn't think of, right? And then you're thinking about, okay, well, you feel that way, or this is what you see, and this is what I'm seeing. Is there a middle ground? And I like to look at this middle ground as one of the 7 habits of highly effective people, as win-win. Stephen Covey, if you've ever read that work, will share with you that compromise usually means that somebody is losing something or someone is giving up something. And when we often think about compromising, that means that we come from a place of negative, we're thinking that we're having to give it up. I like to think of win-win, because win-win means I'm getting a little bit of something, you're getting a little bit of something, we're both happy with the result. And I just find that it is so much more fulfilling when I come from a space of win-win. So when you're collaborating, right, it's not just that you're thinking about trying to convince somebody that they need to go with the way that you have presented something, as much as it is about coming up with a win-win scenario or listening to what they're saying. And there's going to be times where it's going to be like, no, right? Like, this is what we have to do, depending on the role, right? There could be something with the children. They want to do something. You're like, unfortunately, no. And you can maybe say to them, here are the things that are dangerous, or here are the reasons why this is a no, without feeling like you have to convince them, right? If it's a no at work, if you hold a certain position and you are, standing a certain ground, there are times where I have to say, unfortunately, it's no, but it's very similar, right? I can say, unfortunately, it's no, but these are the reasons why. It's not just because it's a no, and I'm not trying to convince them to be okay with the no. I'm just letting them know these are why I have to say no to this, right? So collaboration, you can either come up with a win-win scenario, again, by listening and pulling out the pieces, not to, again, like convince, right? When we pull out pieces and say, but look, that's why you're wrong, that is us explaining ourselves or trying to convince somebody. But when we pull out the pieces and say, oh, what I'm hearing you say is this, and I'm saying this, so why don't we do this, right? That is not you over explaining. That is not you trying to make them understand your thinking. That is you listening and coming up with something. So I do think that for this topic, there is a place for when we collaborate with others or we're learning how to work with others, that we can get our points across, share what we're thinking without trying to overdo it and get somebody to think that we're right or wrong. And the last thing I want to say with that is really for us to check our mindsets on this concept of right and wrong. And while we might have in our hearts a very strong belief around what's right or wrong, what we have to remember is that everybody has a different perception of right or wrong. And that perception is typically based off of how they grew up or what they know or how their mind works, right? So we have to move away from this concept of right and wrong and move into this concept of understanding, right? And coming to a space of moving in what we feel is the best thing to do. And realizing that everybody is different, and that's okay. And while I don't agree with all the decisions that people make, and I don't necessarily think that everybody follows their moral compass, that's not my business. My business is about me, the decisions I make, the things that drive my mindset, and that's how I have to be able to show up in this world. So if you keep that in mind, and again, not necessarily dig your heels into, I'm right, this person is wrong, they need to do what I'm doing, and all of this, you will find yourself having a much easier time. You will find yourself feeling a sense of peace, right? And you will also find yourself getting a lot more accomplished. So let's hear from you guys in the chat. What about today's message may have resonated? Is there something that you're going to try that I've shared with you that is new? Or is there something that you're still working through? Let's have a discussion and get it going, guys. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, follow, and share. And I'll see you back here next week for more fun. Bye.